Hi everyone, how's it going? I'm sorry it's been a while since I last spoke to my fellow TIs. I'm not gonna lie to you, my sleep patterns have been chaotic as hell, so I've barely been out. I'm literally gonna be so busy for the next couple of weeks because I've got an event to do tomorrow, and also I'm doing an event next week. So I'm very busy just kind of, getting my home in order and basically getting everything in order. Um, I wanted to ask my fellow TIs once again how you guys are doing. I'm doing relatively okay. Because of the self-isolation, I went through a really bad patch last weekend. As a lot of you guys know, I went through a really bad patch emotionally. I'm just coming out of it now, which is good. For the last few days, my mood has been on the up. I am continuously getting attacked in my head. When it comes to the electronic weapons, I am getting attacked in my head and getting attacked on different parts of my body. They like to attack the upper back for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I have been getting attacked in my head, in my top half of my back, and in my eyes. So I have been attacked quite a lot, but it's low frequency attacks for the most part. Well, not low frequency, but it's low intensity attacks that I've been experiencing with the electronic torture. Because even though I have experienced tinnitus, I have experienced the brain damage, or the attempted brain damage anyway. Well, they are damaging your brain if they're using the weapons. I've experienced all these things, and I've also experienced like continuous harassment, but it's just not having the effect that they want it to. It does get to a certain point where the torture stops working. So I have a feeling that they'll have something up their sleeve. The gang stalkers will have, they will make specific changes to try to upend everything again at a time where I'm least expecting it, because they always do that. Whenever they feel like they're not going to get to me in one way, they will throw a spanner in the works unexpectedly to try to level the playing field. So that's what I can see happening now, when it comes to me. And knowing me and knowing the way this gang stalking works, I honestly feel like there's going to be an increase in physical torture more than emotional torture. The emotional torture will still be there, and the financial abuse will still be there, the medical abuse will still be there, all of those things will still be there, but I have a feeling that it will be more physical than psychological. Because when you're younger, breaking down your psychology becomes the easiest way to break you down, but as you get older, like I said before, it becomes about physical torture. So I have a feeling that the electronic torture will increase, the electronic harassment will increase at some point. Now, when it comes to my neighbors, the harassment has been relatively low level. If it's been present at all, I feel like it's mostly just talking about me behind my back, but I'm not being funny. Normal people talk about one another behind one another's backs anyway. It's just dependent on what's being said. It just depends what's being said, and do you know what I mean? It's lots of people talk about one another behind each other's back. It used to bother me, but it's like, because I understand how it's weaponized against you, it just makes me think, okay, I've got bigger things to worry about. It's also coming up to, I'm actually not gonna say it now. I'm not gonna say it now. I'm gonna say it at another time, but yeah, there's a very special milestone coming up, and I feel that with this particular milestone hitting, I feel like a lot of things are going to change. I can't explain it. There's a feeling that I have that things are coming full circle, but they're coming full circle in a way that they don't normally come full circle. Like, usually what will happen is that with each cycle, I'm supposed to do, well, I'm supposed to do a little bit worse each time with each cycle, because that's how gang stalking works. But I find that I'm getting better, and my life is getting better, like one cycle at a time. It's not like an everyday thing where things just go up like this. It's like there are ups and downs and ups and downs. It's going up like this. So it's like with each cycle, there's an improvement happening in my life, or I improve in some way. So I feel like there's a big change coming up in my life after this milestone has passed. I feel like there's something big that's going to happen. I don't know what it is. I have a feeling it's going to be a change that I probably won't necessarily like, because again, we all know how gang stalking works. But something tells me that whatever this change is, it's going to be the same as any other time I've had big changes. It's going to turn out to be a nightmare at first, but then I'm going to find a way through it, and then I'm going to find a way to make it work. So I think that regardless of whatever happens, that's probably going to be the outcome. But I can feel a change. There's something in the air that's happening. Right now, the situation around me, everything that's going on around me, it feels like like a deep breath before the plunge. That's how it feels. And yeah, I can't explain it. I can't explain what I'm feeling right now. But a really big change is going to drop. A really big change is going to drop. Huge changes are going to drop. Speaking of which, I've been following, economic progress in the US, and like clockwork, everything that everyone was saying about immigrants being disrespected, about literally marginalized people being driven out of places, like you see the fiscal results of that in Florida. The same thing is going to happen in the UK. With money from diverse communities in the UK being reallocated to Tory constituencies, that's the first thing that's happening. The second thing that's happening is that it's harder for immigrants to get in the country. That's the second thing that's happening. Or it's harder for black and brown immigrants to get into the country. And they're easing the path for Ukrainian immigrants to get in the country. So that's the first thing that's happening. The first thing that's happening is that money's being reallocated. The second thing is that people from predominantly white countries, or immigrants from predominantly white countries, are given favor from black and brown immigrants. That's the second thing that's happening. The third thing that's happening is that rights for queer people are being rolled back. The fourth thing that's happening is, poor people are being scapegoated now. Now we've got the benefit system being scapegoated. Ironically, the reason why the benefit system is so bloated in the first place is because of privatization. But that's another conversation. That is another fucking conversation we need to have for another time. So with all of these ingredients, and the rights of women are being rolled back. So that's 5 things. That's 5 things that I've named. I haven't even listed everything, but that's 5 things that I've named. Let me get into another 2. So we've also got Brexit, which has drastically impacted foreign trade. And we've also got the COVID situation, which has also drastically affected foreign trade. So we've got all of these things going on. We've got more and more people moving to seaside towns, which is affecting the landscape of seaside towns, and basically affecting the delicate ecosystem of everywhere else too, because people are being forced out of major cities. So with all of this going on, I can see that things are going to get drastically worse for poorer people. And I can see that the rich will get far richer and the poor will get far poorer. So the chasm between rich and poor is going to increase dramatically due to hatred being back in style, right? or open hatred being back in style, poverty is going to increase exponentially, because poorer people once again fall for the okie doke of hating one another rather than actually doing something about the government. So all of these things are coming into play. Now, how does that affect gang stalking? Well, it might actually, I mean, gang stalking has already been affected because people used to be paid quite well to gang stalk someone else, but now you can get gang stalkers on the cheap. If you're a member of government, like, this is the thing about wealthier people. When they start making cutbacks for poorer people, what they're essentially doing is making, not only reducing the population to make the population more easily manageable, not only dumbing down the population to make the population more easily manageable, they're also getting certain services wholesale where they would ordinarily have to pay premium prices to get it. Gang stalking or informal collaborators in the blacklisting of people who are unlawfully put on government lists, gang stalkers, right? They are going to be one of those, one of those groups of people whose services will come increasingly cheap. You got to remember that because of austerity, that's the 8th thing we've got to bring into the equation. Because of austerity, there are less professional spies among MI5 and MI6 than there used to be. The National Crime Agency has been defunct for years. It's been out of the picture for years. So there needs to be a stand-in. And ordinary people who are not qualified to do spy work, like ordinary people doing spy work that are not qualified, that are, a lot of them that are criminals themselves, right? They will come cheaper. Their services will come cheaper. Their services will come cheaper than they used to, because more and more people will be driven towards desperation and driven towards doing something like this. So I feel like gang stalking will actually get worse. I don't think it will get better. And I think it will get worse because when you have a cost of living crisis that is increasingly pricing you out of your own existence, you will literally do anything and everything to ensure that you can feed yourself and you can feed your families. Unfortunately, we've got increasingly few rich people out there, and they're the ones who are allocating the resources. So what it essentially means is that if they don't want to spend extra on people who are going to essentially commit treason to harm citizens of a country, if they are going to essentially hire people to commit treason and to harm citizens within their own country that haven't done anything, if they're going to do that, then they might as well be cheaply paid. They might as well be paid with coupons. They might as well be paid with gift cards and things like that rather than actual money. Like, everything that's going on is so that rich people can ultimately buy everything in a sort of fire sale. I don't know if it's called a fire sale, but when you really get to how economics works, essentially all this hatred and all this bigotry and all this divide among poorer people is essentially so that richer people can get bigger and better deals on real estate and resources. That's all this is for. And gang stalking is one of those things that, it's expensive. Electronic weaponry is expensive. And that brings me on to the electronic weaponry, actually. The ones that are truly non-lethal, the ones that don't kill you, the ones that are not severe, they take a lot of electricity to power. And they need charging every so often. The electronic weapons that don't need charging every so often? The lethal ones. So there may be an increase, because remember, TIs have been dying left and right. So what I see is an increase in lethal electronic weapons being used, or more severe electronic weapons being used, because the battery life on those machines are going to be the battery lives on those machines are going to completely outlast the ones that are non-lethal. So I believe that all of this, everything that's going on with, economically, is reducing the surplus population. That's what this is. It's reducing the surplus population to maintain control of the population, and also to get resources for cheap. Again, essentially, it's rich people giving themselves a sale. Only the sale items are essentially us, human beings. So, yeah, everything will definitely get worse. Gang stalking is not gonna get any better. And with the amount of people being killed, there's a drastic scramble to keep the population confused. So in one article, they're talking about how, the effects of non-ionized radiation and electronic weaponry, they're harming people's brains. But in the same fell swoop, in government, they're acting like they don't know where Havana syndrome comes from. They still haven't legitimized the cause of what is actually causing Havana syndrome, when everyone with a full working brain knows what the fuck is going on. They're still refusing to confirm anything. So we've got a mainstream media run by rich people who can't even keep their story straight. They can't even keep their damn story straight. And I kind of knew this was going to happen from the beginning. I knew this was going to happen years ago. I said it years ago that the truth would come out, but they would separate the truth into different sections. So they're separating conservatorship abuse into one area, separating Havana syndrome into another area, separating voice of God technology, long range acoustic devices, and directed energy weapons into another category, separating widget fidget into another category. Like, they're separating so many different things into different categories so that people don't twig that all of these things have already been brought together on top of nanotechnology in order to control everyone. And by the time everybody's figured out what's gone on, yeah, they'll want to fight, and they'll want to fight back. But by that time, it'll be too late, because people will always make an effort when it doesn't mean anything to do so. People will always talk shit when it doesn't mean anything to do so. People will always complain about our governments and complain about what they're doing to us when it's too fucking late to do so, and when it doesn't mean anything anymore. Do you understand what I mean? So, yeah, things will get worse. Things will get worse. And as TIs, we need to be prepared. We need to be prepared for that. We need to be prepared for the fact that things will get worse. And we need to be on our guard. Expect more targeted individuals to be killed. Expect more targeted individuals to be arrested or sectioned, even if TIs have not done anything. Know your rights. Protect yourself. Get your frequencies up. Get your frequencies as high as you can get them. Protect yourself with whatever means you can. Faraday cages, like reflective surfaces, I don't care. Protect yourselves. Because it's going to get worse for a lot of people. It's going to get worse, unfortunately. But anyway, my fellow TIs, let me know in the comments how you guys are doing. How you guys are getting on. I really, really want to hear from you guys. It's been so long since I've spoken to you. So please talk to me in the comments. Let me know how you guys are doing. Also, don't be afraid to talk to each other in the comments. I know that you will do it anyway, whether I say something or not, but feel free to also talk to each other in the comments, because we really need to tighten up, need to be unified, because things are not going to get better out here. They're going to get worse. Okay? Talk to one another. Talk to me. How are you guys doing? I really want to know. Okay? So, peace and blessings, my fellow targeted individuals. I love you guys so much. Bye-bye.